I've transmigrated into the canon fodder male supporting character in a tragic romance novel. The female CEO hates me with a passion. To save her lover, she's forcing me to divorce her. Elias, if you don't sign, I'll break your legs. Quickly did the math on how much alimony I could get, then signed the divorce papers without a second thought. It's laughable. This kind of stepping stone male supporting character, anyone who wants it can have it. I just want to enjoy life. Wincham. I woke up. I was lying in the sun on a sprawling estate that covered thousands of acres. It took me a moment to realize what had happened. Originally, I was just a shady street vendor selling low-quality grilled sausages. But now, somehow I transmigrated into the male supporting character in a melodramatic tragic romance novel. According to the book, I had a business marriage with the female lead, Alice. I'd been infatuated with her for over a decade, but she didn't love me. She only had eyes for Benjamin. In an attempt to break them up, I committed every kind of evil imaginable, eventually falling off a cliff and dying a horrible death. The thought made me shiver. The original character was nothing more than a stepping stone for the main couple, a cannon fodder. If I wanted to survive, I couldn't repeat his fate. I flipped over, ready to continue basking in the sun when my phone rang. It was Alice. The moment I picked up, she snapped. Elias, you better get your ass over here right now. I suddenly remembered. Yesterday, Alice had proposed a divorce. I refused, and out of frustration, I'd had someone kidnap Benjamin. Thankfully, Alice arrived with her bodyguards just in time, and Benjamin only sustained minor injuries. Now she was coming to settle the score with me. I hung up the phone in a panic. I had hurt Alice's lover and she would definitely want to kill me. No way. I had to run. I quickly got up and headed back inside, but the estate was just so massive that by the time I reached the living room, I was drenched in sweat. Alice and I slept in separate rooms. She usually didn't allow me into her room, but I knew where she kept her valuable jewelry. The original character was just a foster son of the Law family, ignored and not even given a share of the family assets. His bank account had only a few spare coins that would barely last a month. So, before running away, I needed to grab some money. I picked up a sapphire necklace. It looked expensive, and just a few of these would set me for life. While I was looking around, I came across a sketchbook. I opened it up. The book was a birthday gift from Elias to Alice. Inside were sketches of Alice starting from when she was a teenager. Each drawing had a date written on it and was kept in pristine condition. It was obvious the original Elias had loved Alice deeply. But no matter how much he loved her, he was worthless in Alice's eyes. I remembered a scene from the book. Just before Elias died, he begged Alice to look at him one last time, but she didn't spare him even a glance. Her heart and mind were completely consumed by Benjamin. The original Elias was such a fool. I placed the sketchbook back and continued searching for the necklace. As I was about to leave the room with the necklace in hand, I saw two bodyguards approaching. It was over. I was trapped. Half an hour later, I was dragged into a private room where I froze when I saw Alice sitting in the center. Her exquisitely beautiful face, fair skin so delicate it seemed it could break with a touch, radiated an aura of nobility. No wonder the original Elias loved her so desperately. She was truly stunning. Benjamin was sitting beside Alice. The male lead is like every righteous character in novels. Despite his tragic past, he has a handsome face that makes the female lead weak in the knees. Everyone else was from wealthy families watching me with glee. Alice looked at me coldly. Elias, get on your knees and apologize to Benjamin. Benjamin tugged at Alice's hand, pleading for me. It's all right, Alice. Alice harshly refused. No, he dared to kidnap you. He's going to pay for it. I knew Alice wouldn't let me off without humiliating me to make Benjamin feel better. A real man can endure. Surviving was my priority. I dropped to my knees with a thud. Sorry, Benjamin. I shouldn't have had you kidnapped. Not only was Alice stunned, but everyone else in the room was also taken aback. I asked, do I need to kowtow? Before Alice could answer, I quickly slammed my head against the ground. Enough. Alice threw a divorce agreement at me, threatening me harshly. Elias, if you don't sign today, I'll break your legs. I touched my long legs and shuddered. Looking at the divorce agreement in front of me, I finally understood why she'd called me here. I stood up and opened the agreement to read it. What? After the divorce, she would give me $200 million in alimony and 10 properties. Holy, what a good deal. Tears uncontrollably streamed down my face. I didn't want to cry, but the offer was just too much. Seeing me cry, Alice thought I was reluctant to divorce, so she furrowed her brow and said, displeased, Elias, if you don't sign. Before she could finish, I quickly signed my name and handed it to her. When do we go get the divorce certificate? Alice was stunned. She didn't expect me to agree to the divorce so easily. She was completely shocked. Elias, you really agreed to divorce? I looked at Benjamin and sighed. Your lover is back. I'm being generous and helping you two out. Although Alice was surprised, she didn't think too much about it. After all, for her, getting the divorce was the most important thing. In the end, we agreed to go get the divorce certificate the next morning. After leaving the club, I couldn't resist opening the divorce agreement again to count the zeros. So much money. In real life, even if I sold starch sausages day and night, I'd never make that much money. No need to buy a new house. I could just pick one to live in and rent or sell the rest. Just thinking about it made me feel ecstatic. Alice was quite generous, but to her it was probably just pocket change. I didn't expect that as soon as I got back to the estate, I'd get a call from Alice. Come to the old mansion. She hung up right after saying that. I checked the time. It was around mealtime. Could she be asking me over for a meal? For a wealthy family like the Lees, the food was probably top-notch, so I eagerly rushed over. When I arrived at the Lee family mansion, I immediately sensed something was off. Alice, Lee, and Benjamin were standing in the middle of the living room. Lee father sat on the couch, his face dark. He must have found out that Alice was divorcing me for Benjamin and was furious. Benjamin glanced at me and then said to Lee, Father, Uncle Lee, some things can't be forced and Alice is already carrying my child. I hope you can support us. What the hell? So Alice had already been sleeping with Benjamin behind my back. But I didn't remember anything about Alice being pregnant in the novel. Maybe the system was glitching. Whatever. As long as the money was in my hands. I didn't give a damn about anything else. Alice looked at me, her expression complicated, like she wanted to say something. But before she could, Lee father slammed the teapot onto the floor. He pointed at Alice, furious. How could I have raised such a shameless daughter? He ranted at her for a while. I stood quietly, saying nothing. I didn't love Alice, so her actions didn't stir much in me. But as a man, it was a little irritating. She didn't respect the original character at all. Then I thought about the $200 million in alimony, and my mood brightened again. After Lee father finished scolding, he ordered the servants to kick Benjamin out. Although angry at Alice's disgraceful behavior, he had no choice but to approve the divorce. Maybe feeling guilty toward me, he sent several jade antiques as a parting gift. I cried in his arms and said, Thank you, Father. The next morning, Alice and I went to the office to finalize the divorce. As soon as I got out of the car, I saw Benjamin standing at the door. He really couldn't stay away. His aura was different from yesterday. The smug look in his eyes, probably because he thought now that Alice was pregnant with his child, he had one for sure. Ha, I'm not Elias, the idiot. I wasn't about to fight him for Alice. Besides, I didn't want to be some tragic lover. Right now, all I cared about was getting the divorce, securing the alimony, and living the good life. There weren't many people at the office today, so it wasn't long before Alice and I were called up. 10 minutes later, we walked out looking defeated. Benjamin anxiously asked, Alice, did you get the divorce certificate? Alice shook her head. No. Benjamin frowned. How could that be? Did Elias back out and refuse to divorce? I rolled my eyes at Benjamin. You've never been divorced, huh? Now there's a cooling off period for divorces. We have to wait 30 days before we can finalize it. I had just learned about the cooling off period myself. So annoying. I was feeling frustrated and didn't notice Benjamin's slightly evasive gaze. He raised his voice. Of course, I've never been divorced. I was speechless. Why was he shouting? I couldn't care less whether he'd been divorced or not. Benjamin glared at me. Elias, I warn you. When the time comes, you better come to finalize the divorce like a man, and don't even think about backing out. I gave a cold smile. Sure, whoever doesn't want a divorce is the dog. Alice's face turned green with anger when she heard that. I didn't care if her face was green or red as I strutted off. To avoid any complications with the divorce and to make sure I got the alimony, I made sure to show up in front of Alice every day, making her hate me even more while also seeing if I could squeeze a little extra from her. After all, I had suffered enough in the name of love trying to win her over for all those years. Now, asking for some material compensation was perfectly reasonable. Money, of course. The more the better. Finally, Alice couldn't stand me anymore and threw a black card at me. Get lost. I looked at the black card in my hand, and no matter how hard I tried to suppress it, I couldn't help but smile. Alright, I'm out of here. Not being able to get the divorce certificate yet had me feeling down. So, I decided to cheer myself up, went to a car dealership, and walked out with a Rolls-Royce Cullinan. I used Alice's car to pay. Despite being a total gold digger, Alice had never been stingy with the original character when it came to money. It was one of her few redeeming qualities. As I cruised around in my luxury car, I couldn't help but notice every head on the street turning my way. Of course, handsome guy driving a fancy car who wouldn't be mesmerized. Next, I went to the hospital for a full body checkup. I had to make sure I wouldn't end up with all this money, but no life to spend it on. As I was walking out of the hospital, I heard someone calling my name, Elias. I looked up and saw a woman standing in front of me. Her name was Selena, the original character's childhood friend, and she'd secretly been in love with him for years. However, the original Elias had never returned her feelings and insisted on staying with Alice. This made Selena and Alice bitter rivals. After I married Alice, Selena and I hadn't kept in touch much. I shook my head. To have such a pure and sweet girl by your side and not appreciate her. What was the original character thinking? Selena asked. Are you feeling unwell? No, I just came for a routine checkup, I said, looking at her. How about you? Selena raised the bag in her hand. I'm picking up my dad's heart medication. After a pause, she continued, I heard you're divorcing Alice. I nodded. Yeah, she's pregnant with Benjamin's child. Am I supposed to stay married to her and celebrate the new year together? Selena was shocked for a moment, but then her eyes turned suspicious as she looked at me. Elias, it's been a while since we last spoke, but you seem different. You used to be completely obsessed with Alice. To cover up my unease, I cleared my throat a couple of times and said, after chasing her for so many years with no response, I'm tired. She can love whoever she wants. I'm handsome and I've got money. Finding a wife won't be a problem. Selena kept staring at me, trying to figure out what had changed. To ease my guilt, I gave a dry laugh. Anyway, I've got to go. Let's grab a meal sometime. She was too smart for her own good, so I hurried off before she could figure me out. With 28 more days to go before the divorce cooling-off period ended, I spent my days eating, drinking, shopping, and packing my bags. The more I could take, the better. I'd sell whatever I didn't need later. As soon as the cooling-off period was over, I reminded Alice to go get the certificate with me. Alice frowned as she looked at me. Elias, why do I feel like you're more eager to divorce than I am? I was confused. What man would want to keep the woman who had cheated on him? It was perfectly normal for me to want out. I'm just thinking about you, I said. If we don't hurry up when your kid is born, whose name will it go under? It can't be mine, right? Alice fell silent for a few seconds, then looked at me and said, Elias. I interrupted her. Enough. Don't say anything else. The child can't go on my household register. I don't want to be a dad. Alice's face looked a little dark. We went to the parking lot and just as we were about to get into the car, Alice's phone rang. I couldn't hear what the person on the other end said. But Alice's expression instantly darkened. After she hung up, she grabbed my arm, her face tight with anger. Benjamin's missing. Did you have something to do with it? Where did you take him? Benjamin was missing. I quickly shook my head, denying it. It's not me. Alice didn't buy it. Impossible. You must be the one who doesn't want the divorce, so you hid Benjamin. Elias, you're despicable. I wanted to curse. Yeah, the original Elias had done some shady things to Benjamin, but I'm not him. I'm Elias now, focused on making money. I don't have time for petty schemes. Still, I didn't want Benjamin to actually be in trouble. If something happened to him, Alice would blame me for sure. Are you sure he's really missing? Have you checked thoroughly? Alice glared at me. She and Benjamin had planned to meet for lunch about an hour ago, so she sent someone to pick him up, but they couldn't reach him anywhere. I thought for a moment, take me to his place. Maybe we'll find some clues. She stared at me for a long moment. Elias, if anything happens to Benjamin, I won't let you off the hook. I didn't want to argue. Finding Benjamin was the priority. At Benjamin's place, I quickly scanned the room. No clues. Could he really have disappeared into thin air? Maybe he, like me, was just another character in some novel, doomed to be cannon fodder. Alice shot me a look full of rage. Elias, if you're pulling any tricks. Before she could finish, I thought I heard something. I dashed to the bathroom and opened the door. There he was. Benjamin passed out next to the toilet, reeking of alcohol. Alice hurried over and knelt down, shaking him. Benjamin, wake up. Benjamin's eyes fluttered open. Alice, what are you doing here? We were supposed to meet for lunch. Did you forget? Benjamin stood swaying. I forgot. I had too much to drink last night with some friends. I looked at Alice's bodyguards. Didn't any of you think to check the bathroom? The bodyguard lowered his head. We didn't expect him to be there. Well, who would? Passing out next to the toilet was definitely a unique habit. Alice glared at her guards. You're all useless. I rolled my eyes. With her intelligence, she should be a ruthless businesswoman. But here she was. I turned to Alice, smirking. Former fiancé, can you at least get your facts straight before blaming me? Don't just accuse me randomly. After all that tension, it turned out to be a misunderstanding. This time, I was the one embarrassed. Before Alice could respond, Benjamin cut in. If you hadn't had me kidnapped last time, Alice wouldn't be accusing Elias. I was so pissed, I almost laughed. All right. But next time you want to sleep next to the toilet, at least let me know. I couldn't even be bothered with that scumbag. I turned back to Alice. Let's go. No more delays. I've got alimony to collect. Today, the Civil Affairs Bureau was bustling. We waited in line forever before it was our turn. Finally, we got the divorce certificate. The money and house were settled. Bro was happy. Now, from this point on, I plan to live the good life, eat delicious food, enjoy myself, and live my best days. Alice looked at my smile. Elias, what are you so happy about? I'd suffered long enough. Now I finally had what I wanted. Why wouldn't I be happy? I shrugged. Nothing. I'm heading out. That same day, I moved out of the estate. I rented a spacious apartment downtown. It wasn't as big as the estate, but it was perfect for just me. I rented out the rest of the properties. When the Law family heard about the divorce, they were furious. They even called me, begging me to patch things up with Alice. In their eyes, I was just a pawn to connect the Law and Lee families. I ignored them and cut all ties. Laughable. Who wants to be a pitiful supporting character? I just want to enjoy life. That night, I went to a bar. Life's too short not to have fun. After a few drinks, I ran into Selena. Elias, you're actually at a bar drinking, she said, surprised. Not surprising. Selena knew I usually stayed away from places like this. I pulled out the divorce certificate from my pocket and showed it to her. I'm divorced now. Don't I deserve to celebrate? She glanced at it, then smiled. Well, how about I keep you company for a few drinks? I smirked. How about you buy me a drink? The Ma family, like the Lee family, was filthy rich, and Selena was the only child. She had more money than she could spend, so I figured I'd let her splurge on me a little. Selena sat down, resting her chin on her hand, and looked at me. Alice isn't exactly a saint, but she probably won't be stingy with the alimony. I chuckled. I'm definitely remarrying someday. Got to save up for my next wife. She raised an eyebrow. Already thinking about remarriage, huh? So soon after the divorce. I shrugged. What? Stay celibate for her? No way. She's in the past now. Not sure what exactly I said that. Please, Selena. But she immediately offered to cover all my expenses for the night. I was overjoyed and quickly ordered an expensive bottle of wine. The next morning, I woke up lying on a hotel bed. Selena was asleep beside me. Shocked, I checked myself. Thankfully, nothing had happened. Selena woke up, glanced at me, and complained. If you're going to drink, at least know your limits. You're heavy as hell. It was exhausting taking care of you. She stretched, clearly annoyed. Turns out I got drunk last night and Selena brought me to a nearby hotel for convenience. She stayed up worried I might throw up and ended up falling asleep next to me. I looked at her and chuckled. She was way more dependable than Alice. I couldn't forget that time when Elias got drunk and had a fight with Alice. She got so furious. She had her bodyguards throw him out, leaving him to sleep on the lawn all night. That was the moment Elias swore off drinking for good. After we packed up, Selena and I checked out of the hotel. As we stepped outside, I noticed Alice not far away. Benjamin was with her, dressed sharp in a suit, looking like he belonged in some business meeting. Alice was probably escorting a client. This hotel was part of the Lee group after all. Selena nudged me, trying to catch my attention without making it obvious. I just shrugged her off. A decent ex is like a ghost. You don't even have to greet them, I said. Supporting characters like me didn't stand a chance against the main couple. Better to keep my distance. Alice's eyes lingered on me for a moment before she turned to Benjamin and said something. His face darkened, but he still got into a car and left alone. Alice then strode over to us, her face stormy. I need to talk to you, she said serious. Before I could say a word, Selena cut in. I'll wait in the car. She then walked off toward the parking lot. I turned to Alice. What's up? She gave me a sharp look. What's your relationship with Selena? I almost rolled my eyes. She was my ex. Who was she to question me? I answered lazily. Whatever you think it is, that's what it is. Maybe my attitude surprised her because she pursed her lips and said, I'm not pregnant, so that was it. Benjamin must have used that as a ploy to get the Lee family to agree to our divorce. But honestly, her heart was always with Benjamin. Whether she was pregnant or not didn't really change a thing. I smirked. Well, maybe you should focus on getting pregnant. With Benjamin's kid, then Alice froze, clearly shocked. What did you say? I couldn't help but laugh. A generous ex like me was rare. Why was she still upset? I'm just wishing you both the best. You always wanted to be with Benjamin, so now's your chance. Alice fell silent. I thought she had nothing more to say, so I turned to leave. Elias. I stopped and looked back. Is there something else? I kept my tone calm but firm. Alice looked at me strangely. I'll drive you home. I waved toward the car. No need. Selena's taking me. Without waiting, I walked away briskly. Once in the car, I glanced back at Alice. She was still standing there, frozen. Selena shot me a sideways look. You're not still thinking about Alice, are you? Stop being ridiculous. Look, see that girl in the short skirt over there? Pretty, right? I rubbed my eyes. I'm still a little drunk. Can't see straight. Selena rolled her eyes. I thought you were still hung up on Alice, but turns out you're already checking out other women. I'd have to be crazy to care about Alice. She's bad. Luck for me. Maybe Elias really did die because of her. That's why I ended up here. Selena laughed. Honestly, she looked great when she smiled. The next few days were pure bliss. I even took a 2-week vacation and got to see a bit of the world. Now I get why everyone chases wealth. The luxury of doing nothing is addicting. When I got back, Selena came by with some news. She told me Benjamin had married some rich woman abroad a while ago, but the woman dumped him for a younger, better-looking guy. After the divorce, Benjamin came back to China looking for Alice. No wonder he was so emotional when we last talked about the divorce. Alice found out Benjamin had been lying to her. They had a huge fight and she accidentally fell down the stairs, injuring herself. Selena looked at me seriously. If you want to get back together with her, now's your chance. She's in the hospital. She thought I might still have feelings for Alice because she saw how deeply Elias had loved her. I sneered. Are you kidding? I want to live a long life not wasted on her. Suddenly, my phone rang. It was Alice. I answered. Hello. Her voice was weak and raspy. Elias, I'm in the hospital. Why should I care? I'm not her mother. Still, I said, oh, well, take care of yourself. Elias, aren't you coming to see me? That made me pause. 2 years ago, Alice had been in a car accident, and Elias had stayed by her side, caring for her more than a nurse would. Even then, she gave him the cold shoulder. Now, she was calling me. Did she really expect me to come? Not a chance. We're divorced. No reason to stay in touch, and I'm definitely not coming to visit. If there's nothing else, I'll hang up. After I ended the call, I noticed Selena watching me the whole time. You said you'd take me out for a meal, she reminded me. I hadn't expected her to remember so clearly, but said casually, fine, I'll buy groceries and cook at home. She raised an eyebrow, can you cook? Original Elias couldn't, but I could. It's not hard. Wait here. I'll make you a feast. Mostly, I just wanted to save money. Going out would probably cost me tens of thousands. 2 hours later, Selena sat at the table, giving me a thumbs up. Wow, this is impressive. You're almost a professional chef. She picked up her chopsticks, digging in happily, praising every bite. A rich lady like her, used to fancy meals, was loving my simple cooking. Seeing her enjoy it made me pretty proud. I accidentally dropped my chopsticks. We both reached for them at the same time. Our fingers touched. We froze. Selena's face went bright red. She tried to pull her hand back, but I held on. Selena. She looked up, surprised. Honestly, my heart was pounding. Compared to Alice's cold, untouchable vibe, Selena was much more real. Strong on the outside but feminine underneath. But truth be told, I was just a single guy with zero romantic experience. Holding my breath, I leaned in and kissed her cheek. Selena's eyes widened. You. Before she could finish, the doorbell rang. I got up to answer it. To my surprise, it was Alice. She looked pale and had lost a lot of weight. Bandages wrapped around her head made her look like a tragic beauty. Pitiful. I shook my head. Wasn't it just a breakup? Did she have to look half dead over it? She sounded choked when she said, I looked at that album. And now I know how much you loved me. I'm sorry, Elias. I was wrong. Can you forgive me? Elias really had loved her. That much was clear from the album. But when I didn't answer, she started crying. Elias, I regret it. Alice's voice cracked. I shouldn't have divorced you. I've missed you so much these past few weeks. Can you come back to me? If Elias had seen Alice crying with red, puffy eyes before, he would have been heartbroken. But I wasn't Elias. Even if she was crying or drooling, it didn't matter to me. Alice, there's no such thing as a regret pill in this world. We're done, I said firmly. Alice panicked. I don't believe it. I know. Before she could finish, Selena walked up to me. She came over and hugged my waist. Elias, the roasted ribs you made are so delicious. I smiled. I'm glad you like them. Selena glanced at Alice, who was stiff as a board, and giggled. You're something else, Miss Lee. A guest comes over, and you don't even invite her to sit down. Alice's face turned ghostly pale. She shot me a hurt look before turning and running off. Watching her leave, I couldn't help but think, wow, the female lead really has fallen from grace. Life sure knows how to turn things around. Selena pinched my waist, pouting. What was that look on your face just now? You kissed me earlier. Are you trying to back out? I snapped out of it and gently patted her head. What are you thinking? I'm afraid you'll dump me, not the other way around. Selena's face turned bright red and before I knew it, she was throwing herself into my arms. I wrapped my arms around her tightly. Honestly, her body felt soft and holding her was really comforting. After Selena and I confirmed our relationship, she took me to meet her parents. Knowing her dad had a heart condition, I brought some health supplements for him. Her parents liked me a lot. They didn't mind that I was a divorce and even asked when we were planning to get married since Selena wasn't exactly young anymore. I held Selena's hand and said, next month. Her dad and mom grinned from ear to ear, repeating how great it was. We chatted a while longer before her parents went upstairs. Selena looked at me and asked, you told my parents we're getting married next month, but before she could finish, she saw the diamond ring on my finger and froze. I had already bought the ring before coming to her parents' house. I didn't want to miss my chance with Selena, so I planned on marrying her sooner rather than later. Looking at her, I asked seriously, Selena, will you marry me? The diamond was 10 carats, very flashy. I may be cheap in some ways, but I wouldn't be stingy when it comes to marrying the woman I love. Selena was so moved that she started crying. I smiled and wiped away her tears, but she slapped my hand away. I was taken aback and then heard her say, stop wiping my tears. Hurry up and put the ring on me. I laughed. She was afraid I'd back out, huh? I slid the ring onto her finger. Selena excitedly hugged me. I hugged her back tightly. With the wedding next month, things felt a bit rushed, and I needed to get busy with the preparations. The next morning, I accompanied Selena to a bridal shop to try on wedding dresses. After choosing one, Selena went to change and I waited on the sofa. Suddenly, I felt a gaze on me. I looked up. It was Alice. She looked at me and asked, "Are you really going to marry Selena?" I nodded. "Yes, we've already set the date." Alice's face became sad. "Can't you not marry her?" Alice, I called her name, looking at her face. "You don't love me. You're just being possessive because you see me with someone else." If she hadn't found out Benjamin had lied to her, she wouldn't even have thought about me. Alice denied it through her tears. "No, I always thought I loved Benjamin. But after the divorce, I realized I regretted it. I can't let you go, Elias. I love you." I didn't want Selena to come out and see Alice ruining the good mood. So, I said bluntly, "Even if you regret it, it has nothing to do with me. Alice, I only want to be with Selena now." Alice's tears fell even harder. I added, "Look, I don't even feel anything when I see you cry. Don't you get it? I don't love you anymore." Alice froze, biting her lip. Silently, she turned and walked away. Outside, I didn't know when it started raining heavily. Alice didn't have an umbrella, letting the rain soak her. She looked completely disheveled and miserable. I had never seen Alice like this. She had always been so high and mighty, so unapproachable. But I felt nothing. Selena came out of the fitting room in her wedding dress, almost blinding me with how stunning she looked. "Sweetheart, you look so beautiful, so captivating." Selena blushed and smiled. "You're just full of sweet talk." I pulled her into my arms. "I'm telling the truth. For me, Selena was the woman I should be with." The wedding day arrived soon after. Both Selena and I were excited and happy. After the ceremony, I picked up Selena to head home, but out of the corner of my eye, I thought I saw Alice's figure. I didn't care, though. Looking down at Selena in my arms, I smiled, filled with happiness and contentment.